The biochip, a tiny injectable glass-encapsulated rice grain-sized microchip, is one of the most frightening and controversial of the marking devices. In the past 5 years, thousands of animals have been implanted with these microchips.
If a lost pet is not returned to its owner or adopted by a new owner, they're either put down or claimed for research. But now, there's a solution. The Anacare system. Your local veterinarian vaccinates your pet against being lost with a small identification microchip. Our national network of veterinary professionals, animal shelters, and animal control agencies scan all lost pets. Then, one quick call to the database will locate the pet owner quickly. The Anacare microchip gives each pet an exclusive identification number. A one-time fee provides lifetime registration in a national database. Local veterinarians are microchipping family pets, hunting dogs, show dogs, and cats. Already more than 2 million pets enjoy the benefit of microchip technology. Don't let your pet be among the 20 million that won't make it home.
This fascinating system is based on the reading of radio frequencies from a minute microchip implanted in the animal. In the past 4 years, thousands of animals have been implanted with microchips.
The implantation technique in the dog and cat is no different than a routine immunization for distemper or other infectious diseases.
An encapsulated microchip comes to the veterinarian inside a needle in a sterilized package ready for insertion. A 10-digit alphanumeric code is burned into the memory of this microchip.
The recommended location in the dog and cat is the base of the neck between the shoulder blades along the midline of the body. We then go ahead and implant the chip subcutaneously. We then scan afterwards and again compare and validate that the chip matches the registration. Now the registration is designed to contain enough information to readily aid in the recovery of a lost or stray animal. It has the veterinarian's name, phone number, location, the owner's name, phone number, location, plus third-party information if that's pertinent. It also contains additional information such as tattoos, whether it has pet insurance, other information that would aid in the recovery or return of a lost or strayed animal.
It's basically no more painful than a routine inoculation.
Sounds great for animals, but look who they're talking about injecting with a biochip now.
Veterinarians think the concept could eventually be used as a way of identifying children.
I don't know if they would have to do special studies for the human population, but I think it's feasible.
There's even talk about injecting newborn babies before they're allowed to leave the hospital. While some people are ready to accept this idea, others are skeptical even about having it done to their pets.
Scrappy, the Maltese's master, had hesitations about going high-tech. So did the owners of 2 canines named Shaka and Juice.
I don't know about putting something inside my dog. I don't know.
GM Hughes has a very highly automated overseas facility for manufacturing glass-encapsulated radio frequency transponders. These are passive devices requiring no internal power supply to operate.
Radio frequency identification devices are designed to have long life. As a result, the lifetime of these things is essentially or virtually unlimited. When you get to the mathematical factors of what is the likely life of these devices, mean time between failures stack up into the 175 to 250 year lifespan.
RFID, or radio frequency identification devices, fall basically into 3 frequency operating ranges: low, medium, and high. The medium frequency is the least used because of various governmental restrictions around the world.
High-frequency tags are most commonly found in automotive toll collection applications, rail car and intermodal container applications, whereas the low-frequency tags are found in animal identification, personnel access control systems, many factory automation tags, pallet identification, asset identification applications, that sort of thing. High-frequency tags that can read 200 feet are not uncommon at all. High-frequency tags that can read 1/4 of a mile, for instance, do exist, although they're expensive. Passive tags, I have seen passive tags that can read 200 feet. So low-frequency devices especially, and by low frequency I'm talking about things in the 125 kilohertz range, will read through the body. And that means then they read through flesh, blood, bones, skin, and therefore the entire concept of implanting animals with radio frequency identification tags was conceived many years ago.
For more than 10 years, the military has been investigating the possibility of replacing the GI's dog tag with a smart card or other type of RFID transponder. But there is a hitch.
Notably that of if you have a device containing a substantial amount of information on a GI, on a battlefield, and then that device and or the GI associated with it fall into the hands of the enemy, you've now transmitted a tremendous amount of data, possibly to that enemy in a combat situation. We're not part of a military program to implant tags in humans. In fact, we are not part of any program to implant tags in humans. But a glass-encapsulated animal tag only begs the question of the definition of what type of animal, and if that definition is a mammal, certainly it would include man. Are there humans running around somewhere on the globe with tags, RFID tags implanted in them? Yes, absolutely conclusively so.
At least 6 million medical devices a year are implanted in human beings, everything from vascular grafts to breast implants. The United States Food and Drug Administration has implemented a new ruling called the Safe Medical Device Registration Act of 1994. This act mandates that all prosthetic medical devices to be put into human beings must be tracked from the time of manufacture through implantation and possible eventual removal. You'll never guess where a radio frequency identification device has shown up now, in a new type of breast implant. In order to comply with the Safe Medical Device Registration Act, the breast implant contains a Hughes RFID chip. It is currently being tested in 100 women in Britain, Italy, and Germany.
The RFID device, which is actually physically attached to the breast implant itself. A really interesting aspect of that is that once the breast implant is implanted in the patient, the radio frequency transponder can be read after implantation, and so that many years following the implantation of this device, that registration number can be read by the patient going to a hospital or a doctor that has a reading device. Inside this circular area is perhaps very hard to see, but a slight line of outline here of a linear device, and that is the radio frequency transponder that's been associated with the breast implant insert itself at the time of manufacture.
Radio frequency ID is positive identification when an RFID chip is implanted in the human body. But by linking it with biometrics, identification is just as certain even when used as an external tag. The U.S. government proved that in the Caribbean with a program they call Deployable Mass Population Identification and Tracking System. As the Coast Guard rescued wave after wave of Haitian refugees from the angry seas, identification and processing became a major problem. Before the flood of humanity began to slack off, more than 50,000 Cuban and Haitian refugees had been processed at the Navy base at Guantanamo Bay. Identification of the refugees originally was accomplished with a simple hospital-type plastic bracelet with a slip-in identification card, but that quickly proved unsatisfactory.
They needed to find a way that they could process these people much faster, give them a much better stay while they were there. So we got into the development of the electronic identification bracelet, which is basically an identification card. Each number was unique. They could process them very quickly electronically. As I stated, it only takes 39 milliseconds to scan and pick up the unique ID number. You could process people very, very rapidly.
In its final form,